make sure your photos are clear. Figure it out. Whatever you need to do, just make sure we can see the fish and your ID code at all times. Kayak teams, stay within 20 yards of each other at all times, even when graphing. You need to be back here within 50 yards of the launch, not of this area right over here, within 50 yards of the launch at 1:30. If you choose to leave early, for weather reasons or whatever, you cannot text me your fish. You need to actively be here at 1:30 to submit your fish. Your 5 fish, hopefully everybody catches 5 fish, need to be in one album. I do not want to slide through a bunch of pictures of the same fish to get to your next fish. All of them in one album. Does anybody have any questions? Good luck. Let's go.
Rob here with our Keeler Outdoors. Today we're going to break down the worst tournament I've ever fished in my life. And that was Mirror Lake, New Jersey, Slaynation, New Jersey, stop 2. Mirror Lake. It wasn't so much the lake. I have nothing bad to say about the lake. It was a cool experience. Bite wasn't very good the day we were there, but it was everything that came with the trip. So me and Charles, we left my house about 3 in the morning to get there about 5:30, 5:40 for check-in. So I strapped everything to the boat, packed everything the way I have every fishing trip I've ever been on my life. Fishing 2 people, so I had 8 rods. I took 8 rods for myself on the boat. So we're pulling to the boat ramp about a mile away. I hear a screeching noise, so I pull over the side of the road, jump out real quick just to take a look at everything. This is after driving 52 miles and hour and a half down the PA Turnpike. I'm dragging a rod behind my boat. So I looked on my boat and I was now down with the rod I was dragging. I had 5 rods left. 3 were completely gone. My spinning rod was dragging behind the boat in 2 pieces. Reel was completely ground off. So yeah, that's how my morning started. I pull up the check-in with half my rods, half my baits gone. Terrible morning. So yeah, I lost somewhere between $1,100 and $1,500 on the side of the road to that tournament. So already not the start you wanted. So then we get to Mirror Lake, and Mirror Lake it's a tough fishery, at least it was this day. And we went in with no practice, which is my fault, being 52 miles away and not a lot of time. I didn't make the trip there the way I should have to start fishing. So I got a little bit of footage from the day. Rain set in on us, pretty hard rain set in on us. Probably, I want to say we started fishing at 6:30. 6:30 to 1:30 was the tournament. Rain set in on us pretty hard about 10 o'clock, I want to say. Rough guess, because this is months back. I was going to trash this footage, but I figured I'd make a video log about how bad a day I had. So jumping into the map, zoom in here. Here's the boat launch. We launched from here. So we jumped in, we went this way first and jumped in about here and fished this point up to about this island. And it's heavy grass. We ended up catching our only fish right about here. Heavy grass going up to the island, choke out your trolling motor type of grass. We were throwing some top water. I had a buzz bait, he had a spider on. I was ripping a chatterbait through it, spinner bait through it a little. And everything was pretty unnatural to me because I'm throwing everything on rods that I didn't plan on throwing these baits on. So, and we fished back over to here, ran this bank all the way back down. And it was pretty much like a steep, rocky bank, not as much grass as you got down this way. Nothing, not a bite. And there I was flipping a jig, I was flipping a tube, I was flipping a D-bomb. I was flipping creatures I like to flip on down that way. And then I was setting kind of the main lake down here. So I'll screenshot that again. So we continue to fish this bank until right about this point. Then we jumped across. What are you doing? We jumped across to here and fished this point really hard. And I could see the fish down there on my scan. Had one bite on the drop shot, and he came right off. We weren't able to hook him, so there was someone back in this pocket working this pocket really good back in here. So we fished on around up here, hitting the bank, hitting the backside of this bridge really good. There's some docks in here we hit really good. Got to this point, there was a nice laydown on that point that I flipped really good, and that's when the hard rain set in. So once that hard rain set in, I picked up on my buzz bait, put my rain gear on, continued down this way, fishing all this, and then there was a nice set of pads out in this area. So I ran that buzz bait over top of those pads really good. Nothing. Got back over here, continued flipping that jig and those creature baits and that tube back and forth while Charles was fishing that drop shot. Fished all the way down to the corner here, real good, hit that corner real hard. There's a lot of boats working this area over here, so we kind of fished across the dam here and then worked our way back up this island. By the time we hit the point of this island, we had covered a ton of water. It was 11:30 at that point. It was pouring rain. My camera gear had all gotten soaked. Another byproduct of this tournament was the power stick I run my GoPro on completely broke. Got water inside, was trashed, had to spend $120 and get a replacement. So yeah, this was one of those tournaments that kept on giving. So about this point, and I had to work night shift after this tournament, so it's about 11:30. Had we had a fish, even one fish, to bring the weigh in, I would have finished up this tournament. But I was mentally defeated. I was physically defeated. I was tired. I was hungry. I had to work that night, and I'd already lost $1,500 worth of stuff. So looked at Charles, and I could tell by the look in Charles' face he wasn't having fun either with everything that had happened to me and everything he had to be a part of that morning. So we made the decision, ran back up, loaded the boat. We got out of there on an early day. Gotta say, this was by far the worst tournament I've ever been a part of. I mean, no fault of Charles, no fault of mine. I mean, we could have fished better. We could have pre-fished. We could have practiced here better. But yeah, I wasn't even going to make this video. I wanted to forget this day, but I was like, you know what? Let's turn it into a video log. Kind of show you guys what to expect going there. And I forget what the total length that won it was, but it wasn't. There was a couple guys who got 5 fish. A lot of little fish. I want to say 15 3/4 with big fish for the day, which isn't a big fish any other place we're probably going to fish. So yeah, weather was terrible, rainy, cold. The typical weather you can get in April. And some guys made the adjustment, most guys didn't. I went home early, so I can't speak for the other guys. So that was my tournament. That's my vlog in a nutshell. So I know this ain't going to bring much value to anyone, but as much as I fish and as much as you guys see me fish, this is just proof that tournament fishing is different. It can take down the best of us. So I'll do better next time. Better get out and practice some on these lakes before I go to them, because flying by with what I know from my local lakes just isn't going to cut it on this trail, and it's evident already. So catch you guys on the next one. I appreciate you guys following along.